Hello everyone, warm welcome to the Aviyel community. We are so glad to have you here today. Thanks for joining in on this Friday evening. I'm sure you all have your busy schedules, so thanks for joining in amidst all of that. My name is Charu and I'm from the Aviyel's content team. On this call, we also have with us Sobin who leads content and distribution at Aviyel. We also have Prashant who works alongside me in the content team, and we also have Ram from our ops team. Yeah, that's about it from our team, who we have here right now. But, we are all, really glad to have you guys here. You guys are, the integral parts of our community, and we are on a mission to help open source projects sustain. And, we can't wait for all of you to join us here as creators and, work with some of the fastest growing open source projects. So before I go any further and we get to the purpose of this event, I'll hand over to Sobin, who will try to walk you through what we're trying to build at Aviyel and why you're like the building blocks of our community here. Over to you.
Yeah, hi folks. How are you? How are you folks doing? Right. So now let me start with what Aviyel is all about. Right. At Aviyel, we are actually trying to empower the open source community. We're not trying to change it. We are not trying to build a new version of open source community. We are trying to empower the community that is there, right? So currently there are certain issues with the open source community. There is, if you actually go in for libraries like Faker.js or Color.js or something like that, they're not proper documentation. It's done by one person actually doing it for the last 1 decade without getting paid, without actually looking at morely. He's on a goal to build something that he loves, and he's been actually contributing to the project. We want to actually make sure the maintainer is rewarded, the contributors are rewarded, and the project is sustainable, right? If you look at projects which are backed by the big tech, right, like React or Angular, it is well documented. But when you look at projects which are community runs, there are a lot of gaps in documentation. There are a lot of gaps in DevRel, right? If you have all these projects that are in terms of which is backed by the big tech, you would see that there is a DevRel team that is there, which is approaching, which is writing blogs, which is talking about the project, which are getting contributors active. What at Aviyel we are trying to do is we are trying to make sure the communities that are there are grow the community up, make sure the community is sustainable, right, to build further on. Right? You can actually visit Aviyel.com and you can check our manifesto, and you could see a wonderful guides that we have written on what we want to do. We also want to bring in diversity into the community. More into bringing more women contributors, female contributors into the picture, right? We want to create a diverse open source community rather than being an 80% of a particular category of people. Let's bring in more folks from various perspectives, which will improve our interdisciplinary skill, which will again enhance the project up, right? You as creators help us do that. You are our evangelists, you are our speakers, you are here to actually help us shout on the rooftops, right? And actually bring in the crowd that the projects deserve, right? The attention the project deserve, and create better documentations that we can, which is community maintained documentation, right? That is what we hope we can do together. We can help this community build, create a better open source community. Back to you, Charu.
Yeah, that was really wholesome, Sobin. I'm sure, we're all excited after hearing that. Thanks for that. And like Sobin mentioned, we are working towards empowering open source projects. Currently, we have 5 projects onboarded onto Aviyel: TypeSense, Doxy, Chatbot, MobSF, and Hopscotch. I would like to give you all a little bit of background on each one of these projects before, we get to the true purpose of this event, like I said, and, we get to know you guys a little bit better, and you folks get to know each other a little bit better. So starting off with TypeSense. TypeSense is an open source alternative search engine to Algolia and is an easier to use alternative search to Elasticsearch. It is super fast and it's a typo tolerant search engine. Next, we have Doxy. Doxy is an open source tool that creates React documentation, and it's extremely easy to use, based in MDX and built in Gatsby.js. Great tool to use for React documentation. We also have Hopscotch onboarded onto Aviyel. Hopscotch is an open source alternative to Postman, which I'm sure many of you must have used, and is an open source API development ecosystem that's super light and super fast. We also have MobSF, or the Mobile Security Framework, which is an all-in-one mobile application for pen testing, malware analysis, security assessment frameworks, and which is capable of both static as well as dynamic analysis for your mobile applications. So for all the app developers out there, go-to tool. And lastly, we have Chatwood, which is quite popular as an open source customer support tool for instant messaging to provide exceptional customer support through one single omni-channel inbox. So yeah, those are the 5 projects that we currently have, onboarded on Aviyel, and we are currently creating content around those topics and those projects as of now. But we'll soon have much more coming on board to our platform. So now that's a brief intro about all the 5 projects that we have. So now we'll come to the most important part of this event, where we get to know all of you folks a little bit better. We know that you all come from diverse parts of the world, and you bring your expertise in what you do and what you write and in your respective domains. The purpose of this call, like I mentioned, is not just for us to get to know you folks better, but also for you to get to know your peers better. You should be able to build, in our opinion, meaningful relationships, or relationships that when you're having a writer's block, or you have some professional query that you can always you should be able to reach out to these folks. They are your people. We're trying to build a community, and these are your community members that you get to reach out to. So it's a great point where you get to meet all these folks. So I think before we get started, let's start with a quick round of introductions. What's your name? Where are you currently located? What is your professional background? And probably one fun fact about yourself and why you joined Aviyel, probably. So I can go and start. I can give you an example. It would probably go like, my name is Charu. Currently, right now, I'm located in India. Professionally, I work at Aviyel. One fun fact about me is I like brewing wine, and yeah, that's pretty much about me. So I think we could go around the room and introduce one another, introduce oneself.
And I'm based in the U.S. Currently, I'm a data scientist for a technology consulting company. Before, I studied geography and math at the University of Texas, and I had a background in marketing. I love writing just about technical stuff, open source projects, data science. I've been doing it for the past 6 or so months now, so that's something I really enjoy. Fun fact about me, I can solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds or something. It's really easy. You just need to memorize all the algorithms. So once you do that, it's like riding a bike. You never forget it.
Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Fidel. I'm from India. I'm currently in Delhi. I'm a student at Vellore Institute of Technology, currently in second year. I like to do web development and write blogs in my meantime. And a fun fact about me, I play video games and sarcastic tone.
That's amazing. Yeah, thanks for that. I think we have representation from almost every continent today. That's amazing. To have. Yeah, thanks for that. Now I think we can move ahead with and come to Sobin again, who will run you through some of the essential guidelines and tips that you can follow while writing your articles. These are mostly standard guidelines that will be of use to you even when you're writing for an organization outside of Aviyel and in your entire technical writing journey. Ram should be getting back to you with your welcome kit, which will provide all these resources over email. So don't worry about taking notes or anything. If you have any questions, feel free to stop Sobin and ask if you have any questions. I'm sure Sobin will be happy to answer any of them. And if not, we can always come back and have a quick session at the end where we revise and clear any questions or queries if you have any.
Thank you, Charu. So, folks, I'm back. So, so let me actually share my screen. I'd like to apologize that my webcam is horrible. I'm at my hometown, So let's actually go through the content, right? So we've actually created something called an anatomy of an article. So if you're writing an article, what should be there in those articles? What is the structure? This is something that you have to follow while you write those articles, right? Any articles. We are talking about documentation. We went through those history. We've spoken with people. We looked at Google Analytics. How do we see? These are the structure of an article that we have to be concerned about, right? Let's take an example. We are now going and writing an article on how to. So let me take an example of how to install Python. Very simple. How to install React, or how to install XYZ, how to do XYZ. It's a step-by-step guide that you have to create for a particular process, right? So we have written a structure on how this structure will work, right? So you would be getting an outline. The research team will go in and see what is the outline that is there, and the structure would be the title, which would be again for SEO purposes and things like that. We have actually structured and created the title for that particular article, and then the description would be, we have a 100 to 200 words ka introduction that would be introducing why, what is the topic that I'm talking about, right? If you're talking about React, it's what is React, and it has to be a short description. It has to end in 100 200 words. You cannot like give a grand 300 400 page description on that topic. It's an introduction. Then the second structure is why this and why does it matter. Why Python? What is Python? Or why does it matter? Why does it matter to install? Why do you need Python? What is Python all about, right? So it's a small second structure that comes up, and then how to. Now that's the entire screenshot structured method that you have to go in, and then you this is the longest part of the article. Then you go into the tips, right? Again, the tips would be morely around what are the tips that you can while you are installing Python. What are the tips that you can follow? What are the things to save your time, right? What are the shortcut keys that you can install? And you close and actually have a call to action, right? For maybe for another part, hey, now you have learned about Python, why don't you actually check out something around that topic, right? How about running a hello world program in Python? So this is a structure of how to write an article, how to articles, right? Similarly, have similar structures. This is all going to be there in the wiki page in our GitHub library. For example, what is article? What is article is all about. What is XYZ? What is Elasticsearch used for, right? Or what is or when is, or who is, or why is. These are the questions. Again, the title would be 60 words or less. Again, the structure would be an introduction and what is Python, right? Why is it important, right? So then small example, and then the tips. And again, an optional tips are optional out here. So this is an overall structure. You can actually in your free time go ahead and check these structures up, right? And we have something called list articles. List articles are 300 React interviews, or you can say 400 things you have to check while you do React, right? This is overall how the articles will look like. And this also has a structure that it has to follow up with. You can actually follow the rules and regulations are written here. The reason for having these rules are primarily to make sure people don't fluff the article up, right? This is meant for developers, and we want to make it crisp and easy for the developers to access it, read it, or anyone who's learning that framework or this thing. So this has been gone through, and we have made an anatomy of this article. Then whenever all these article lists would be listed on an issue page on GitHub, right? These are the issues that would be there. You can look at an issue, and this is an issue, and you will find all the description that is there. Under the issue, you will have some checklist that is there. Based on the checklist, you can actually go ahead and similarly how you do contributions online, make a fork of the copy, the entire website. Try to write using MD5. Try to write the content out here and create a PR request. This is all done on an empty file. So on post, you can see all the empty files that are there. We want to run this as a community run project. So hence everything would be written out here. For example, how to configure typesins, clusters, how to do it. So these would be all available on our platform link out here, which will then again transfer into our platform here. So you can see all the articles that are there that will get collaborated. And once it is done, it would be pushed into the main server data. So what are the pipelines? How does this content work? Easy flow. Once the research team actually comes up with the content brief for each this thing, right? So they come up with all these issues that are there. These would be changes on the content, changes on certain things, screenshots for let's say if you're doing a how to install step and we need screenshots of Mac and the author didn't have the Mac machine to take screenshot of or step-by-step method, you could actually volunteer to actually write content on that particular issue, right? So once the creator would be assigned to 1 or 2 tasks that would be primarily issued out here. This is an English Ruby, how to get started with typesins and Ruby. It would be assigned to someone, 3 or 4. You can actually comment in and you can say that, hey, I would love to get on board on this project, and you can actually clone this project. Once you have done and you send a PR request, a pull request to us, which would be seen out here. As per this is not publicly opened up now, but we will actually comment with you on how to improve the content through the GitHub platform itself. And the first person that you will interact will be a first reviewer who will actually do a basic checklist on these elements that are there. We'll actually have a basic checklist on basically, do you have images? It is 800 or 800 to 1000 pages long, right? Is it a fluff content? Is it easy for the developers to read? Is it a marketing content? If you're writing a marketing content, it will get rejected. We are building things for developers, right? So those checks will be done. Then the technical review team will go through it. That would be a team of 3 or 4 people going through it, giving comments on the technical aspect. Then it goes back to the editorial team. Editorial team looks at it at an editorial perspective. Are we considering certain terms, certain terminologies that we are using? Is it inclusive of all race and categories? And then they will approve it. Once it is approved, you could see it on the site aviyel.com. It will be posted up. And finally, the PR would be closed. This is exactly how an open source project works. So this is all about our content flow and how articles should be written. This is a small brief. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me at sobin@aviyel.com. I'll not waste more time. If you have any questions, I am all here. I can, or you can just message me on Discord. Does anyone have any question before I send it back to Charu? No? Okay, cool. But don't worry, you can reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, back to you, Charu.
Yeah, thanks for that, Sobin. I think that was a really informative session. I think even I picked up a lot of useful tips from that. And yeah, like Sobin mentioned, in case you have any lingering doubts that you think of after this session or during the session regarding any of this, you can always reach out to Sobin or any of us on the content. We'll be happy to help you out. Before we wrap this session up, I want to introduce you to the various people that you will have to probably connect with during your time at Aviyel. I'll start off with Prashant, who works alongside me in the content team. Prashant, would you like to take over?
Yeah, hello guys. Welcome everyone. So I'm Prashant, and I currently I'm in content team of Abil, and I take care of reviewing content, technical part of the content. So, and I'll also drop my Discord ID And if you guys have any writer's block or during amidst any topic which has been allocated to you, and if you have any kind of writer's block, you can connect with me, and I'll try to resolve that. And also I love to make great technical content that is usually good at SEO and all, so it really helps. Also, so this was my introduction, and over to you, Charu.
You guys will be in touch with Prashant very soon, I'm hoping, when your topics get assigned. Next, we have Ram from our operations team. If you have any issues, Ram is your go-to guy. Ram, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. So hello everyone. I would first of all I would like to welcome you all to the community on behalf of my team. Myself Ram Kumar, and you can call me Ram. And in your journey with Aviyel, I will be always there to ensure that you have a hassle-free time. So I will be addressing any issues you face during your time with Aviyel. So you can send an email to hello@aviyel.com, and where we will keep track of all the queries which are raised by our creators. So, and we also ensure you that all your concerns will be addressed within 24 hours. So I'm also located in Chennai, and I once again welcome you all to the community. Over to you, Charles.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ram. I guess with that, we come to the end of the session. I hope that this was valuable for all of you. We don't want to take up any much more of your time, but I just want to say I am extremely pumped to work with this amazing bunch of folks that you guys are. I hope that you guys are also equally excited. Thank you so much for joining in and on this Friday evening for this. We all look forward to seeing you as active participants of our community on our platform as well as on Discord. Thank you, and have a nice day.